to this week's episode of Blog Talk TV, the social media inspired talk show.
That's right. We share the stories of bloggers and the contributions they've made to their community while sharing you some how-to tips.
And I'm your host, Bess Hour of Gotta Get Blogging.
And I'm Ben Reed from Orlando Waterhole. And welcome to the show. We've got Cory Warren from Real Iron Dad coming up on the program today.
Cory is just this bundle of energy. I'm glad he is into ultra marathons because he probably has to have some way to get his energy out. So it should be a fun show.
Yeah, he's got some great advice on how bloggers can leverage the relationships they have in their network to really make impacts on their own blogs. So very cool stuff. So Bess, question of the show. I want to know, because you're so great at this, what's the best way to organize an in-person meetup?
And I highly recommend them. So whether it's a tweet up or a meetup or a conference or just a get together, so often we get caught up online and don't actually get together. Call up some friends, get them together. But if you want to hold a formal get together, so a formal conference or a formal meetup, so you've got to get some influencers involved. So I would suggest reaching out to one or two other bloggers and saying, hey, I'd really love to do this meetup. How about we get together and host it and invite everybody that we know? Always invite more people than you think will come, because not as many people as you think will come. But some of the mistakes I've seen, and I just saw one recently online, I kept seeing this blogger meetup, and I didn't know who was behind it. And so I tweeted them, I said, hey, who's hosting this? And they responded back that they didn't want anybody to know who it was, which bothered me. Well, they wanted to keep their brand separate from the meetup, so I can understand that. But at the same time, it may be a little distrustful. People want to know who is having the meetup. They want to meet with a face, not with a brand. So definitely put yourself out there. Be the face of that meetup. So I can't recommend enough being the one to say, hey guys, I'm the one that wants to meet you, because it always works best that way.
So we'd love to hear your suggestions on the best way to organize an in-person meetup. So you can tweet them to us at Blog Talk TV. Yep. And if there's a question that you'd like to know the answer to, just send us an email to bess@flblogcon.com.
Absolutely. Or bess@gottagetblogging.com works as well.
That one also doesn't work.
Either one. But we're going to take a quick break to visit Professor Josh in the Bloggers Lab. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Professor Josh, and today I don't have an app or a gadget for you. I have something really unique. So business cards. We all have business cards. They're a necessity of what's going on in life. As a blogger, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, you need to have a business card. And you want to stand out and be unique. So one of those would be Moo. So Moo cards are really unique because not only do they just have, really neat styles, they're really clear, and they look good, and they're good quality cards, but you can have different pictures on every one on the one side, and the other side might have your information. So it's great for like a photographer, for a blogger, for a foodie, all those kind of things. If you want different things on them, you can have them. They also have what are called mini moves. So mini moves are smaller cards. So if I hold up a regular size card, you'll notice the difference of them. It's probably a little less than half the size of the other cards. So they're really small, they're really easy to use, and definitely something unique. So I did some myself, and I have some that are different, like computer parts and things like that, and motherboard. So it's really unique and easy. One of the other things you can do is get a little container to easily hold your Moo card. So these mini Moos fit right in here, slide in, and this can slide in your pocket. They're really good quality and definitely something you want to check out. So again, for more tips and ideas, check out ProfessorJosh.com.
On today's show, we have Real Iron Dad, Cory Warren, joining us. Cory, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you both for having me. I am honored to be here, and am a huge supporter of Gotta Get Blogging and FL BlogCon. Huge fan.
I'm excited because I've stalked him online, and now I see him in real life.
You do need to beware of Ben stalking.
That's great. So that's great. You're just doing your research, and that's admirable.
Just research.
Yes, yes.
So let's start with your blog, Real Iron Dad. Tell us, what is your blog all about?
Sure. So realironDad.com is a lifestyle blog with posts about food, family, and fun. Those three things. So at any given time, you could log onto the website and you could see a post about prepping some really healthy food for your family. You could see something that is a family activity that you could all do together. And then, the fun part is really just me being silly. You could see me working out on a minivan, which actually does take place. My son and I use...
Working on a minivan?
I'm
or
searching.
Working out. It is the minivan workout.
Like,
Where do we find
working
that?
out.
Correct, yes. Well, I think you can type minivan in the blog and you'll be able to find it. But
Okay.
So my son and I are helping to break that stigma behind minivans and men, So, hey, we worked out on the minivan. We're doing lat pulls on the back door and sit-ups with my legs up on the sliding door and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I called it the manny van. It's the man van. So, yeah, the video's
so we're
right there.
officially distracted 2 minutes into the show.
That's okay. That's all right.
It did not take long for us to get distracted.
Wow, okay, I gotta keep talking. So, I love this. Where did the name come from, Real Iron Dad?
So in 2012, I did the half Ironman triathlon and the full Ironman triathlon in the same year. And leading up to 2012 was about a year and a half of training, for me to do that. And the Ironman triathlon is 140.6 total miles. It's 2 miles in the ocean, followed by a 60-mile bike, and then it's it's a 112-mile bike, and then a full marathon right after. Yeah, sorry about that. But while I was doing it, my kids were 1 and 3. They were very, very young. So the hardest part was being a present father and not falling asleep while you're changing a diaper or something like that. And
well, I do have to say, so my husband, Swimmer Joe, does ultra distant marathons and things like that. And I know from being a wife, you're almost like a widow. I mean, you have to train a whole bunch. So how did you keep that connection with your kids?
Well, we had a deal. My wife and I had a deal. She said, if you want to do this, I love you and I support you, but it's not my problem to try to fit in your training during our family life. So if you want to do this, you're going to wake up at 4 a.m. every morning and be back here for breakfast. And so I did it. And she's incredibly supportive. And there were times when I did just pass out on the couch and she took care of the kids. But I did my part. I woke up at 4 a.m. and trained until about 6 or 7. And it worked out. It was about 6 days a week that I would do that.
Have you kept up that training?
No, there's no need to do that when you're just trying to maintain. Right now, it's the off season for me.
Right.
I'm actually going to be having another baby very soon, so that'll bring my count up to 3. So I'm taking this year off from triathlon, still maintaining, still working out, keeping things fit. But 2016, 17, 18, in the future, I'll be doing more.
Will your logo change when you add in number 3?
People have asked me that. I don't know if the logo will change. I don't know how to represent it. While we were doing several iterations of the logo, I thought about maybe having a baby strapped to the front,
I think you should have the baby on a hand, like you're lifting up the baby.
Oh, you should have seen some of the designers. I used, what did I use? I used CrowdSpring, I think, to find my logo and get that designed. And the ones that came back, I was huge, like this guy, this massive dude, and I was like, thank you so much. That's very flattering. But I am a rather skinny dude, still fit, but a skinny dude. So we had to work on that.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Now, in the time that you've been blogging, you've actually got a lot of good press. I was just watching one of your YouTube videos earlier of you've made it on a couple different radio stations and you've been in print. So for the bloggers out there that really want to get noticed and recognized, how would you suggest they go about getting that media attention?
I think that you have to have all your ducks in a row first. One of the most valuable things that I've seen on GottaGetBlogging.com was Katie Widrick's tools on how to create a media kit. And I think having a media kit, a press kit for the media is very important because they don't necessarily have the time to go and research everything about you like Ben does here, So
they don't stalk.
Yeah. They don't have the time for that. So it's more important that you have everything all set up in a quick snapshot to give them. Then the second thing, and the way that I was able to get these interviews and meetings was it's about relationships and genuine relationships between you and the person that you want to have the interview with. So Monica May was one of my interviews from Star 94.5. she runs a nationally syndicated show, and she's with Steve Harvey and everything else. I mean, she's a big deal, and she's become a personal friend over the last few years through various jobs that I've done. And then Obie and Little Sean from Power 95.3, they're friends with Monica, and Obie and I have kids in the same school. He actually lives in Winter Garden. Great guy, great friend. And so those 2 radio interviews happened because of, relationships and being ready. And, I know it's kind of, cliche or whatever, but I feel like, success is when the opportunity and preparation meet, So the opportunity was there, and I was prepared with my media kit. And then, I had a successful interview. And someday, right now I'm in the building phase. So I'm still building my audience slowly, but someday, hopefully we'll monetize and
Well, I love the lesson. I think all too often bloggers are afraid to ask family and friends for help. And everybody started with just one reader, and that was yourself, and you build from there. So I think a great takeaway is, don't be afraid to ask friends and family for support because they're willing to give it to you.
Yeah, and I would add, I think we so often get bogged into the audience that's right here that we forget about the real people. And so the value of those relationships has certainly helped you out. And it's probably benefited your podcast as well. Because you've got some great names on the podcast that you offer. So I've got a lot of podcast questions. But first, why did you create a podcast?
I think that the future of blogging, the future of everything is podcasting. And
wait. Say that one more time.
The future is podcasting.
Okay. The future. We said that this should be the year of podcasting for bloggers. We're doing a huge push, so pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at cars that are being made, they're going to have a podcast button in them eventually. I know that Apple is looking at buying a car. I heard they're thinking about Tesla, believe it or not. I'm not positive about that, but so cool. If they acquired a car, they would have a podcast icon in there. Yeah. And iTunes is the 3rd largest search engine after Google and YouTube, I think. I could be wrong about that. But the main reason I tried it is people get to connect more personally to you. They get to feel like you're talking to them. And that's been an exercise for me. When I first launched the podcast, I was like, hey, it's me, Cory, and I'm on Real Iron Dad Radio. And doing this radio voice, and I didn't know I was doing it until my wife was like, yo, dude, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. And she's a professional voiceover artist, so I can take a note from the pro. And I've just been talking a lot more like I talk, and it's been great. And I've seen the numbers, actually. The downloads have jumped. The guests have been wonderful. And
well, you had an extremely special guest, and I loved this episode. And it was done for kids.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
He had Santa Claus on his podcast. It was such a great use of the season and combining who his audience is, parents and, kids, and it was just wonderful. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, everything I do is safe for little ears. I want to make sure, that's someone's tagline, somewhere, but I want to make sure that it's safe, and parents, busy parents, who is my target audience, can listen to the stuff in the car safely with their kids. And this was an interview with Santa. I'm good friends with Santa Claus. And if anyone has ever worked for Disney, they know exactly what that means when I say I'm very good friends with Santa Claus. And Santa...
Wait, that sounded a little creepy.
Did it? No?
Just a little creepy.
Do I need to go into it? Can I explain it?
No.
Okay, because I don't want to ruin the magic here.
This show's all about being creepy.
Yeah.
I stalk. He's got a relationship with Santa Claus.
But it was a lot of fun. The Santa interview was a lot of fun. He was a great guest.
Well, it was wonderful. I just heard, I was like, that is the coolest thing. Why had nobody thought of this before? So kudos to you.
Thank you.
So we're going to keep talking. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break, though, for a couple blogging tips, and then we'll be back with Real Iron Dad Cory Warren.
So if you're not familiar with Hootsuite, it's a great way to look at your Twitter, Facebook, and other accounts. It shows you everything at once. And best yet, you can also include several different social media accounts at the same time. If you're interested in scheduling tweets or Facebook postings, it's easy to do. You simply post and select, and then you can schedule. And you can schedule several different tweets or Facebook postings at one time to automate and make things easier for yourself. So be sure to check out Hootsuite.
Blog Talk TV is produced by GottaGetBlogging.com.
an online community featuring how-to video tutorials on everything from monetization, working with brands, the basics of setting up your first blog, and more. Visit gottagetblogging.com to sign up for a free or pro membership today. We're back with Real Iron Dad, Cory Warren. We were talking about your podcast and the value of building relationships. So you've got some big names that you featured as guests. Was that all through the relationships you built offline?
It was. Funny enough, I was getting an Iron Dad decal, put like a window graphic, put on the back of my little Honda Fit because I know someone that makes signs. And he did that for me. It was super cheap. It was like $100. So I was like, hey, great investment. I drive all over town. People will see it. And I was talking to him while it was being installed, and he's like, you know, you do Ironmans, right? Yeah, he's like, you got to know Don Davey, right? I'm like, what? Who's Don Davey? He's like, Don Davey is an 8-time Ironman doing the Kona Ironman Championships this weekend. And he was in the NFL, played for the Jags, played for, who else did he play for? It was the Packers.
Yeah.
So this guy is a big deal. 5 girls. He's a father of 5 girls. I was like, I gotta get this guy on the podcast.
Wow.
So, you know, knowing that we had a mutual friend, I reached out to him. It was really wonderful. I found out that he owns like 42 Firehouse Subs franchises.
Cool.
And they happen to be launching a campaign called Hero Fuel. And so you'll see, you know, on the blog and in my podcast, I did a special on heroes and highlighting first responder dads. I did a SWAT commander dad and I did a firefighter dad. And Hero Fuel helped me, you know, push that out. So it's just
That's awesome.
taking the relationship and capitalizing on it and seeing what else you can do to get it out there.
Oh my God, and it just matches your brand so perfectly.
It does.
Yeah.
I called it Hero Dads, the segment.
That's perfect. So you're a dad,
I am.
soon to be father of 3. You've already kind of talked a little bit about how busy you are. I mean, all bloggers are busy, but how do you juggle and manage your time and fit not only when you're training, being a dad, working, as well as blogging?
I think that, you know, we talked about relationships and really close friends. I have a brain trust, which I call it a brain trust. And it's 3 up and coming bloggers, completely different niches that we meet once a month in my house and we bounce ideas off of each other. And we tell each other if it's not gonna work or if it's not a great idea or let me help you. We have one of our 3 that needs help with a website. So the other 2 actually know a lot about websites and we're gonna build her WordPress site for her because she doesn't have the money.
Love that.
She just can't do it right now. And she's a busy mom of 4. So we wanna help her out. So we're gonna do that. And then the other thing is just maximizing my time as much as possible. I shoot some really high quality video in a studio.
Yeah. So talk about because your video is incredible. In fact, we use a lot of your tips here on Blog Talk TV. So, you know, how do you capture that great video?
Sure. Well, that's a little unique. I do a television show for Orange County, which is here in Central Florida, and that is it's a local, you know, government access channel, and they have super HD cameras and really high quality studio. They have a green screen, everything else, and I shoot the television episode for free, and I kind of just lend my talents, if you want to call them that, for free. And then in exchange, they let me keep the cameras on and use them however I'd like.
That's great. So you really have the high-end equipment to use.
Sure.
Relationships.
Okay, so can you scale that down if I'm a blogger who doesn't have
Right.
that high-end equipment? Can you maybe give 2 or 3 tips to capturing great video?
One word, iMovie. Okay, so iMovie on my phone, this little phone right here, I use to shoot a lot of video. And the iMovie app enables me to edit everything within the app. And then I can send it straight to YouTube, or the really popular way right now is uploading the video straight to Facebook for the engagement. But another thing that people don't think about is doing the VO to the video right to your iPhone through earbuds, because the earbuds have a little microphone in them and it'll increase your sound quality instead of just speaking into your phone. But so I'll shoot B-roll of my recipes that I'm doing as I'm doing them. And then in post, I'll go back with my headphones plugged in, watch it, and speak into it. Like, okay, guys, first thing we're going to do is cut your butter and do this.
That's an iMovie. That's your.
It's all iMovie. Yes.
But the headphones have a speaker.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's the
Your
microphone
earbuds.
part.
The microphone part of
The microphone is
Yeah.
what you're looking at. Okay.
Same thing with Skype. Like if you're ever doing a Skype phone call with someone, you want them to have earbuds in if possible to help in case there's a delay or an echo on the other side. A lot of people just speak into their computer.
I love that too.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. So
Awesome.
All right.
You know what time it is? Is it time yet?
It's time.
It's time for show and tell!
show and tell. Do we do this?
Yes,
show and tell.
A little delay. I wasn't thinking you were going to do it.
Okay.
There we go.
So we close the show with our favorite apps, blog posts, gadgets, and things that we just want everyone to find out. And so it's time. I've got a show and tell.
Go.
Okay, so this is an app called InstaQuote. So I'm all about efficiency and time. And so what I did when I have new guests come on my podcast, I like to advertise it out to people so they can comment with questions. So I created a template that I use. I did it in Photoshop on my computer, and then I saved it to Dropbox, and then I saved it to my phone. So then what InstaQuote allows me to do, you can see I left some blank space right in the middle, is I can actually type who the guest is and their title and the date or whatever details I want. I just type it right on that blank spot. I save it, and boom, it goes to Instagram right away. So,
And it's that square already done.
Yep, so the square is already there. So,
So square for Instagram.
Yep. And so then the app lets you choose what kind of font you want and the size and all of that. So it really just is super productive.
And you can put the picture behind it?
Well, this is the background. So if I was to type in, my next guest will be Cory Warren, right? We do that really, really fast.
Very cool.
Neat.
So
it's a time
InstaQuote.
saver.
Time saver.
InstaQuote. Got it.
Oh, there we go.
There he has shown up.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my show and tell.
Well, very cool.
Do you have anything?
Well, does our guest have anything?
Do you have anything?
Well, we were talking before the shoot started.
Oh yeah,
about,
that's right.
Yeah, an app called WordSwag. Okay, so WordSwag is something that you can put your photos up there, and then you can have text. You can choose various different types of font and text to go in it, and it'll just format it automatically, just like you have a graphic designer on your staff, and then you can upload it directly to your Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that, and it'll be sized correctly, so you don't have a head cut off or anything like that.
Love that. Word swag. And that wraps up our time, which is good because I didn't have a show and tell.
It's all right. It's all right.
You're on the spot, didn't I?
I was like, oh no.
Where can we find you online, real quick?
RealIronDad.com, or you can also find me at any social media handles at RealIronDad.
And you can find me at OrlandoWaterhole.com.
And you can find me at Bess_hour or always at Gotta Get Blogging. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Cory. Great show this week.
I was under pressure.
I know. I'm sorry.
I didn't have the